What down? Welcome back to Logix Lens, and today we're going to talk about The Last of Us Online. So a lot of people have been waiting for this Last of Us faction, Last of Us multiplayer, Last of Us online game that Naughty Dog has been talking about for quite some time, and we just recently got a link from their Twitter linking to their website about how this game is no longer happening. Now, I don't know about anybody watching this, but The Last of Us has had a multiplayer game from the first Last of Us game on the PS3, PS4 era, where it was pretty successful and pretty fun. I must admit, when I first tried it, it was quite addicting. It was really good. It was third person, a little bit different. You know, most multiplayer online, you know, it'd be the first person thing, but this is a third person survival thing where you go out with a team and you win against another faction to bring resources back to your camp to keep your camp alive and healthy. And we were looking for an expansion on that. I must say, I was looking forward to it too. And just off reading the letter, I'm actually not upset about the situation. A lot of PlayStation fanboys are upset, but I think if you just understand, you know, what this studio can and can't do and what probably was going to be the end result, I think that this was the best decision. So if you just hate PlayStation because you're an Xbox, you're rolling around in shit, and if you're a PS fanboy, you're probably finding some stupid ass excuse to blame Xbox or whatever the fuck. But let's just read the letter they said, and I want to see how y'all feel in the comments. We realize many of you have been anticipating news around the project that we've been calling The Last of Us Online. There's no easy way to say this. We've made the incredibly difficult decision to stop development of that game. We know this news will be tough for many, especially our dedicated The Last of Us factions community. We have been following our multiplayer ambitions ardently. We're equally crushed at the studio as we were looking forward to putting it in your hands. We wanted to share with you some background of how we came to this decision. The multiplayer has been in pre-production with this game since we were working on The Last of Us Part 2. Crafting an experience we felt was unique and had tremendous potential. As the multiplayer team iterated on their concept for The Last of Us Online during this time, their vision crystallized, the gameplay got more refined and satisfying, and we were enthusiastic about the direction in which we were headed. In ramping up to full production, the massive scope of our ambition became clear. To realize and support The Last of Us Online, we'd have to put aside all our studio resources behind supporting post-launch content for years to come, severely impacting development on future single-player games. So, we had two paths in front of us: becoming a solely live service game studio or continue to focus on single-player narrative games that have defined Naughty Dog's heritage. We are immensely proud of everyone at the studio that touched this project. The learnings and investments in technology from this game will carry into how we develop our projects, and we will be invaluable in the direction we are headed as a studio. We have more than one ambitious, brand new single-player game that we're working on here at Naughty Dog, and we cannot wait to share more about what comes next when we're ready. Until then, we are incredibly thankful to our community for your support throughout the years. That was Naughty Dog's letter to the fan base and the supporters of The Last of Us factions, basically stating that we're either gonna focus on live service, which we all know how gamers feel about, or continue to do what they're good at, which is single player adventure games. Now, y'all know me, I'm big on single player adventures, but I also was a fan of The Last of Us multiplayer. It was good, and I think that they still could have made a good one. But I think in the grand scheme of things, the live service model has completely just worn out its welcome, and I don't think anybody is asking for another live service game, especially if it's one you have to pay for. Granted, this very well could have came out and been free, maybe not, but I think that the studio is recognizing their strong suit is single player games. That's their bread and butter. Live service is dying, and if they have to put all of their energy into making the live service work and be good and compete with all the rest of the ones that's out there, I think that was a very steep hill to climb, and one a risk they weren't willing to take. I think that if you're a fan of gaming, and even if you're a fucking PlayStation pony, I think this is something you just have to let go. Let the Xbox bots just have they fun and talk they shit, even though it's really not anything to prove. Unless you were talking hella shit, then you kind of deserve it. But if you were just waiting for the game patiently to be done and come out, if it come out, and if it didn't, it didn't, then that's just what it is. Yes, it would have been nice to have something different out of Naughty Dog, different for PlayStation fans. But at the end of the day, Sony and Naughty Dog has built their culture around these single player games. It's their strong suit. And if they're saying they're working on something new, I really hope it is something new. I believe Uncharted is done, they said. I don't hope this is another Last of Us thing coming soon. I really think that series can just be what it is. They already pushed it with The Last of Us Part 2. You guys made more remakes than actual installments of The Last of Us, which I find really weird. Yes, work on something new. Just, that's perfectly fine. I'm happy with that decision. I would love to see a new game from Naughty Dog that's still single player focused, story focused, adventure focused. That's perfectly fine with me. I'll take that any day over some more live service bullshit. Thanks for tuning in to Logix Lens, where the game is winning. I'm out.